Welcome back to another Theorizing video. This one's going to be a little bit different, more of a theory craft and, a little walkthrough of a guide. Essentially, after this most recent run that I did, that was intended mostly to kind of show very in-depth progression strategy, just a way to essentially focus your efforts towards progressing to the end of the game as fast as possible, or at least effectively as possible, I guess you could say. It's not necessarily the fastest absolute method, but after doing that, I realized, at the beginning of that series, I showed a kind of like a spreadsheet that I had made that was a very rough draft of a, just kind of a progression guide. And I decided to go a little bit further in depth in that spreadsheet. Obviously, this isn't like a perfect spreadsheet or perfect anything. It might be a little bit confusing, but I'm just going to go over a bit of what this is. And then I'm going to link this in the description as well. So if you just, you'd rather just see that, go ahead and go to the description. But essentially what this is it's going to go through 3 different categories of, importance, I guess, things to keep in mind while you are progressing in V-Rising. So obviously we have the primary objectives first and foremost, and then secondary objectives are kind of like things you can be doing either while you're doing the primary objective, or like directly after the primary objective, or heading towards the next objective, or if you're while you're in the area, etc. Or it can be stuff along those lines in the secondary objective category, or it can also be things like if you don't want to go directly to the next objective, and you would rather, if you feel comfortable doing something else, then just do that. So for instance, starting out, hey, we have Wolf. We start from Alpha Wolf, and then from Alpha Wolf we go to Bandit Logging. Okay, well, so you could just go directly to Keeley if you want, and into Bandit Trapper Camp and just go straight there. But if you don't want to do specifically that, if you don't want to go, hey, I'm going to go directly to Keeley because you have something in mind, maybe you want your PvP protection to last longer for some other thing, like maybe you want to go Wolf, then Keeley, and then run all the way to Coppermine. And so you just want to skip the planks and all this. You just want to go here, and then go Copper. If that's what you want to do, I mean, by all means, you can do that. But instead, the secondary is like, well, you're already at Wolf, and Bandit Logging is right next to Wolf. So you might as well just go to Bandit Logging, get some planks. Okay, from there we're going to go to Keeley. Well, while we're at Keeley, we might as well get leather. And while we're at Keeley, we might as well, we look for all the coins we can. And there's a shady merchant camp next to Keeley, so I might as well stop off there and get my merciless copper recipe. Oh, and hey, maybe you saw Lydia around that whole area. Or during that time, you saw Lydia, and you thought, you know what? I'm going to stop what I'm doing. I'm going to kill Lydia, regardless of what level I am, because I'm comfortable with this fight. And I want Lydia as fast as possible, so I'm going to do that. I hope that kind of makes a little more sense. And obviously, as we go through, it's going to get a little more like, hey, things to keep in mind. I'm going to be updating this side as well a lot more. So primary objectives, this is like what to focus on. Secondary, things that you can do in the meantime. And tertiary / things to think about is going to be like, keep these things in the back of your head while you are doing it. So like, for instance, while you're doing all of this, here's a good way right down here. So we're Beatrice, Cotton. We're talking about after we've passed through Act 1, we're now in Act 2. Okay, we've gotten some iron. We're refining the iron. Now we went and killed Beatrice. We got Cotton. And now there's extended base management while we're in bear form, wearing off our garlic. So that's kind of like what you should be doing at this point, most likely. Making an iron weapon. Make as much halophane as you possibly can. Well, in the meantime as well, something to be thinking about. Maybe you would like to look into the leatherworking and make some pouches for coins. Another thing you could do, technically, in the meantime, if you're like really want to do this right now while you're waiting for garlic to go down, you could technically go up to the the monastery of Dunley, or whatever it's called, Dunley Monastery. And you could technically run through with wolf form and try to get as much scourge done as you could. It's dangerous because you have garlic, but you could do it. You could use that time to collect wolf thread to go around the many different farms and little small POIs that are like pretty safe because they only have villagers. You could use that time to make sure you're farming for more wool thread, either for your Hollow Fang or for Ghost Jarn later. I mean, look, this is what I'm talking about. Keep this and stuff. The way to think about this is if you can juggle all this stuff as much as you possibly can, because there's so many things to juggle in V Rising. I mean, there's so much stuff, and this doesn't even have everything. This is very specific stuff on this list. It doesn't have every single thing. It has very specific items to get you essentially specifically progressing very quickly. Yeah, anyway, here it's like, okay, we went through this. Obviously, you can go through each of these things in the meantime, so I'm just trying to explain the idea behind what this whole situation is. As we go down, just to show you a more idea, like you have, okay, Leandra, this is Shadow Priestess to get the Scourge Stone Pendant. All right, well, here's a bunch of other things you can do on the way up and on the way down and directly after during that time. Okay, so we have Leandra, that should be your primary objective. However, you're probably going to need some glass. So while you're looking, you need glass to make the pendant. Okay, well, how do we get glass? So here's a couple places you can get glass here. You need glass while you're at Church of the Damned, going up to fight Leandra. Oh, hey, you might also want to consider getting more Scourge Stones at the church because you need Scourge Stones to make the Scourge Stone pendant. After that, make the pendant. That is an option. You don't have to make the pendant right away, but you can, if that makes sense. So I probably will move this over to here. And then while you're down making the pendant in your base, well, why not kill Clive and Goreswine for bone dust and alchemy table, and also collecting. And while you're down there as well, get sulfur. Why do we need sulfur? Well, actually, this sulfur isn't even something we're going to use until we're all the way down here at the bottom, making all the items in game that you need sulfur for. I mean, there's so many things: gold, power cores with radium alloy, etc., 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 etc. There's so many things you need sulfur for. So why not try to keep all? See, I have some things I have here noted multiple times. So you see, Ghost Jarn or wool thread for Ghost Jarn later, wool thread for Ghost Jarn later. I have it multiple times. I'm like, hey, keep this in your mind. Wool thread. You will always, while you're here. While you're in Dunley, well, why not stop off somewhere real quick? Just grab some wool thread really quickly. As long as it's not like you're not just going around spending hours and hours and hours collecting wool thread, just keep it in mind, if that makes sense. That's the goal here. Okay, well, now we're fighting Angora. What can we do in the meantime? Well, maybe, you know what? We're level, at this point, I noted here that we're, the preferred level for Angora is 56. Well, why not, if that's the case, maybe before or after or around the time we fight Angora, consider fighting the Glassblower. Just keep that in mind. Hey, you may want to fight Glassblower soon for Blood Rose Pots. You could fight it before Angora, even. If you're not comfortable with Angora fight, well, why not go kill, if you're level 56, like this mentions, well, why don't you go kill the Glassblower, get some Blood Rose Pots, and have some really strong healing to do the Angora fight. And then after that, I hope, again, you get the idea. You can obviously go through this and get some more, get a better idea yourself. I'm going to actually, that won't work. I was going to try to zoom in. I guess I could make the font bigger, but anyway, so, and again, I have things like this. Well, hey, while you're focusing your Dawnthorn and you're hyper-focusing, trying to get all the items for Dawnthorn, you could, if you wanted to, stop off and kill Jade. If you wanted to. You don't have to right away. Which, if you want to, you can. And then you have stuff like that. Okay, let's just say you didn't do that. That's okay. Hey, the Wanderer, Falrock, Cursed Smith. Well, hey, while you're there, get all of the Ghost Crystal and Shrooms and Ghost Shrooms that you possibly can. Like, also consider crafting your Spectral Dust before you go on to the next point from that. So the idea is just collect as much as you possibly can for Blood Moon later. Again, we're only at this point, you're only level 66. Around. And again, and also, I'm just going to say this. You don't even have to follow this guide if you don't want to. This is 66 with Dawnthorn, and then like an upgraded tier 2 pendant and a merciless iron weapon. That's what we're working with right here. That's putting us at level 66. Now, if you want, you don't technically have to do that right now if you don't want to. But this is just like, this specific guide is just saying, hey, if you have those things, you'll be 66, and that means you'll be in a really strong position to do the rest of this. So, anyway. Yeah, moving on from there, we have the Wanderer, Falrock, Cursed Smith, Magnus. Hey, while you're fighting Magnus, hey, why don't we get silver then? Use a silver resistance pot that if you found one, or if you have the recipe. Also, if you use mutant blood, it'll up your silver resist, so you can make one big run for silver while you're fighting Magnus, and that should be enough, right? As it says here, it says it should be enough. One big run should be enough for one person's mats. So if like one person, not servants, not a squad, nothing like that, but if you have a silver resistance potion, the cloak that gives silver resist, and mutant blood to increase your silver resist even more, that should give you enough silver resist to get enough silver for just having a single run for silver to get you all the silver weapons you're going to need. So obviously it depends on how many silver weapons you want, etc., etc., etc. And then, okay, well, if you didn't kill Jade up here, well, now you have to kill her because you need to get the anvils. But at this point, you're level 66, so it should be a walk in the park. Oh, hey, by the way, while you're killing Jade, wool thread for Ghost Yarn later. See how I put this here? Like, this is definitely something you really want to start considering. You'll notice I keep all of her. Keep all sulfur. I put that here. Bouchon, we're talking about Brighthaven farm. Well, hey, if you farm Brighthaven, you can actually get sulfur in a lot of the chests. Keep the sulfur. Don't toss it. So I kind of put these little notes in here like, hey, just keep this in mind, because you may not see where you need this yet, but you are going to need it very much like in the short future here. And then as you go down further, get to the bottom. Okay, well, Zerial. Well, now that we've killed the Zerial, now we can start refining gold if we have sulfur, right? Henry Black Brew, Ziva. Hey, make sure you get tech scrap here because you're going to have it. If you haven't got it already, make sure you get it. Hey, while you're fighting Ziva, get tech scrap before, after. Ingram if you want. You don't actually have to kill Raziel, but maybe this would be a good time to do it around here because you just killed a Zerial, and you should have a greater holy resistance potion going. So you can actually just go kill Raziel if you want. Wilfred, Raziel, etc. Again, hope this makes sense. Hope you're understanding what I'm saying here. And if this is confusing, just let me know. And again, I have down here, hey, by this point, you should probably craft your Blood Merlot pendant and a sanguine weapon of choice. Hopefully, you can do this because you crafted enough gold and whatnot. Hey, look, wool thread for Ghost Charm later on there again. But if you have if you have full Dawnthorn, Blood Merlot pendant, sanguine weapon of choice, you're going to be eye level 77. So at that point, it's like, okay, now you're at level 77. Let's clear up to the last few bosses. Oh, and by the way, if you're comfortable with Styx, 77, you can kill Styx at 77 if you want to. There's nothing stopping you. While you're killing Matka, you can kill, after that or before that, you can kill Styx as well. And hey, consider doing Glass Blower for those Blood Rose pots because we're definitely going to want them for, the shard bosses, which are coming up. Oh, hey, Ghost Yarn. This is why we got as many ghost shrooms as we could earlier, as I noted here. I'm probably going to note here, this is why we got, I'm probably going to say is ghost shrooms and wool thread as we could earlier. And then charged batteries into power cores. If you kept all the sulfur you found, you should have enough to make as much gold and radium as needed. Now, obviously not as much as you need for every possible thing, but if you took the time each time you saw, not every time you see sulfur, but like constantly kept that in your mind and thought, do we have enough sulfur? No, we don't. Okay, I'm going to make sure I get a little bit more. And then, look, if you didn't get it, well, now is the time to get it because you need these power cores. So, and then Brighthaven until you have enough Gold Sun recipes, gold chains to be at a comfortable level. What that means is just like for the end of the rest of the game. If you need more Gold Sun, you can kill the frog for coins if you need to, or you can do it up here. Just depends on when you want to do that. You can do it even earlier, honestly, if you wanted to. But I don't know why you would because unless you want frog form. Because you don't really need to be making coins like for Gold Sun way up here whenever you don't even have like sanguine weapons and stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't. Anyway, Styx. Yeah, if you haven't done Styx by the time you got to this point, after you've gotten your right here the Gold Sun for recipes, sanguine. Yeah, as much Blood Moon as you have recipes and sanguine weapons plus a tier 3 necklace. Once you have that, if you haven't killed Styx yet, well, now's the time to kill him. Again, if you want the Ancestral Forge, let's go ahead and go back and kill Raziel if you haven't killed him yet. Level as high as you want / can, and then we go for the shard bosses. So again, this side, the tertiary things, we're probably going to fill this out a little bit more because there's definitely more things you can be thinking about. There's certain parts. So the way the game works resource-wise is very interesting. In the beginning of the game, the resources you need start out very, very narrow with like bone and rugged hide. And then they slowly expand out, and you need more. Okay, now I need some stone, then I need wood. Okay, now I need copper. Now I need planks. Now I need, etc. Leather. Now I need coarse thread, and it's slow coins. It's slowly getting bigger, right? Then we move into tier 2, and it's like, okay, well, now I need sulfur, iron, and I need copper, and I need planks. I need all those things. Now I need cotton. I need wool thread. So it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then, like, towards the beginning of mid-end game, all through tier 2 and like tier 2.5 and like the beginning of tier 3, you just start needing this huge chunk of stuff. All kinds of things. You need copper. We need copper. We need whetstones to make scourge stone. We need ghost crystals to make, spectral dust. All these things are just all over the place. And then as you get towards the end, all the way down here, it actually narrows back down again. Now all you really need, it's like, okay, well, in order to get like the next best stuff I need like the wool thread, cotton yarn, ghost shrooms for my ghost yarn. Then I need like blood for primal blood essence. Then you need like silver, gold, power cores. And that's pretty much all you need. Like that, I mean, obviously onyx tiers, but that's power cores and gold. So anyway, it kind of narrows down to at the end where you specifically need certain things. So if you've been keeping up with everything, it's really hard to keep track of everything as the resource requirements expand through this like middle and early end game. It's hard to keep track of all that stuff. So that's what the goal of this is try to kind of keep you, thinking about those things. Thinking about like, okay, well, is there something I could be getting here now that maybe I don't technically need right now, but like could definitely use in the future? So, yeah, anyway. So, and then other than that, there's only one other tab here. This is like just really quickly to go into what this is. It's actually really cool. This is from a while ago. It's an old thing from a while ago. These are patrol paths. Obviously, you can see these bases are like the old version of the bases. But the roads in Farbane have not changed almost at all. There's certain spots where they have changed. Like this, technically, there's a road through here now, around here. I don't know, this road's the same, I'm pretty sure. But like most of these spots, like as far as I know, 99.9% of the roads are like identical to how it currently is here. So this is just these all patrol bosses for Farbane. I know this is like a really random thing, but the three things the important things here, obviously Tristan, you can kind of just find him whenever you want. By the time you want to fight him, usually you can track him by then. But like Goreswine, some people really want to kill Goreswine early. They really like Corpse Explosion, or I guess it's Bone Explosion now. And knowing that he patrols from this graveyard over to this graveyard is really nice, because that means even if you're level like 10 or 15 or something like that, and you say, you know what, I want to kill Goreswine, but I'm not like the high enough level to track him. Well, it's not hard to find where he is if you know that he patrols on this path. Same with Alpha Wolf. Let's say maybe you did something. Sometimes people have crazy strats where they skip Alpha Wolf. I don't know why you would want to do it. I do know why you would want to do it. On a fresh wipe, whenever there are like 40 people trying to kill Alpha Wolf at once and it takes 15 minutes. I've seen this happen. I've been a part of this multiple times, and it is a nightmare. When that happens, maybe it's a good idea to just say, you know what? There are two other spawns where Alpha Wolf is going to spawn. He can be at like both of these places or all three of them simultaneously. I'm not sure about all three, but I know for a fact he can be at both of these spots at once. I'm sure if you've played this game enough, you've ridden past this part, seen Alpha Wolf, and then ridden this way and seen another Alpha Wolf literally in 8 seconds. And you're like, oh, Alpha Wolf. Oh, wait, another one. So, yeah, he can be in two places at once. So maybe you just say, I'll let them deal with that for the next 10 minutes. You go up and get a horse or whatever, maybe go straight to Keeley, whatever it is you want to do. Maybe you go get a base, go over to Coppermine, whatever it may be. And you can't, Coppermine anyway, but you can essentially use this to kind of give yourself an idea. And for me, the really important one, Tristan, again, he's pretty easy to track, but Lydia, it's so convoluted where she walks. She actually still walks this path, by the way. I'm like 95% sure she still walks this. She might walk up here now, like up through here. I think she still walks this path. I'm trying to think of where I saw her recently. I thought she was over here, but I think she's still down here. Yeah, so this is something really interesting to know. Let's say you have a little bit of time. Let's say you're on a squad server and everybody's farming stuff and you're like, I really want to kill Lydia right now. I'm level 10. I'm not 100% sure where she is, but I know our base is like, over here somewhere. Well, instead of like taking the fastest route over there, I said squad server. I guess it doesn't really matter what server you're on. It can be whatever. But so instead of taking the fastest route to the spot you want to go, you can kind of be like, well, let me just like cruise her patrol path a little bit and see if I can't, see her real quick. So anyway, hope this has been interesting and enlightening. Again, like I said, this will be in the link in the description down below. But if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. And thanks for watching, and we will catch you in the next one.